Tate, episode 4.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. You good?
Yep, good weekend.
Yeah, man. But
Yeah.
this is, we're starting to get some momentum.
Yeah, we've got a few out there, and we'll just keep on rolling.
I think
and
I saw that we've got like 3 or maybe 4 listeners now.
yeah,
It's really starting to pick up.
we've gone viral, mate.
Crack that top 10.
Yeah, we've got
I
some
swear to
mega
God.
traction on
Yeah,
this thing.
unbelievable. Hey, we're pretty lucky this week though.
Yeah,
Mate of yours, mate of mine.
great, mate.
Known him for a wee while. First met him when he was in our industry.
Yep.
As a rep, looking after a lot of our members and a lot of the sparkies out there in the market. Made
Yep.
a pretty dramatic change, hasn't he?
He did indeed. So today we've got Matty Melville on from Rum and Que. Big barbecue competition team, even bigger barbecue company. So they do rubs, sauces,
Yep.
the works, whatever you need for low and slow barbecue and beyond, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, been mates with him for years. He's a bloody good bloke.
Yeah, I remember him having this in his head for a long time. You know, someone who's super passionate about that industry, and you know, he was always talking about his low and slows and different cuts of meat and how he was going to do it. And
loves a bit of meat.
loves a bit of meat, but also put his, you know, money where his mouth is, and decided to actually, you know, pull the trigger, pushed it out there, and he's a one-man success story.
Yeah, totally, mate. He made the leap, as you say, great success story. So let's hear it from his perspective, eh?
Yeah, man, get into it.
All right, cheers.
Let's go.
All right, Matthew Melville, welcome to the Puzzle Factory, mate.
Cheers, Bobby.
How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Well, I've not seen you for a while until last week, eh?
Thursday, I think we caught up, didn't we?
Yeah. Bit of lunch. It was bloody
Sure.
not too bad.
Very pleasant.
Yeah, but great to see you, mate. You're
Yeah.
aging like a fine wine.
Oh, thanks, mate. It's the lighting.
Honestly.
It's very
Honestly,
forgiving. Yeah.
Oh, I've missed you. Right, so yeah, we just thought we'd have you on today. Obviously, mix the subject matter up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not just electrical.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, mate. You've been there, done that,
Been
right?
there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you just want to start by telling us a bit about yourself?
Yeah. Look, my name's Matt. As you might pick up from the accent, I'm Australian. I came over here in 2010, reluctantly.
Yeah, didn't. Nah.
It's never. I don't know. I mean, it's never a dream to grow up and one day move to New Zealand if you come from Australia. But having said that, I've been here 15 years now, and I definitely call this place home. I came over, I guess, in 2010 for a little bit.
Yep.
I was working up in a mine up in Northern Territory, and didn't really like being a sparky for a long time. Although I've been qualified for 26, 27 years.
Yep.
When I was up in the mine earning some of the best money I've ever earned, I thought, still not happy.
Yeah.
Let's look at something different. So I started studying canine behaviour by correspondence. So that that was a 12-month diploma.
Yeah.
Just dogs. Yeah, those little canine things.
We'll just leave that one there.
But I was really trying to find something different, and coming over to New Zealand, I thought, right, this is my chance. I'm going to leave the tools at home.
Yeah.
Come over, do something new. That kind of lasted for about 4 or 5 years, but I did go back to Australia. I made somewhat of a go of being a dog trainer. I had my own business and ran it for about 4 years.
Right.
Good money, but just not enough of it.
Not enough work, basically.
Not enough work,
Yeah.
and quite often, even though you went to these people's houses and tried to sort the problem out, it invariably fell back on the dog. Dog's not doing it.
Yeah.
And generally it was
Because they were doing fuck all.
they were doing bugger all.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that sort of killed it for me in the end, and I went back on the tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then where'd you go from there, mate?
Well, again, still not enjoying the tools. Like, I went and worked for a few Spark. I don't know if I'm allowed to say Sparky.
Yeah.
I worked for Lloyd's. Then I worked for Caudle and Vest for a little while. That was cool. Started running jobs, even though I asked them. I didn't really want to run jobs. First job, here you go, mate. Here's a folder. I'm like, I know what that looks like.
That's your hours. That's your budget.
Yeah. And we were close with an electrical wholesaler down in Boston, or not Boston Road, Nugent Street there. And I walked in one day, just had a guts full because I just got a parking fine. I had to lug ladders up and down High Street, and I was just so angry one day, and I just threw the book on the bench, and one of the guys sort of said to me, he goes, "Man, I've never seen you like this before, and what's up?" And I said, "I just had enough of the tools, you know." He said, "You ever thought about becoming a rep?" And I thought, no, I hadn't actually. So I went and applied, but unfortunately, they weren't going to steal any labour off Cordwell and the Best, being their number one of their big customers. So I ended up working for Simpsons in the end, just before about 18 months.
They're
before...
the appliance technician.
No, that was before Scott's bought them out. Simpsons.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so I was on the road there as a rep, which was really cool because I got to go to site to help people that looked as panicked as I was, you know, maybe 6 months earlier, and just drop the gear off and drive away.
Yeah.
Thank
Not
Christ,
get your
I'm
tools.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed, you know, helping where I could, and never been a salesman before. I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
Apart from trying to help people. And then I got into the supply side into Vinco, and I guess that's where I really started to learn about selling.
Yeah.
Because it was features and benefits. You know, although you were helping, you were really up against a lot of other products that were very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to sell a circuit breaker, you know what I mean? Like,
there's not a lot of great stuff you can say about it, eh?
No, it does what it says on the box.
Something goes wrong, it'll break the circuit.
Yeah. I mean, that's, that was the highlight for the circuit breaker. But my highlight really was, again, helping people. I used to come and call on you. You were one of my favourite calls, you and Seb.
That's where we met, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mate?
I think I met you up in
Orewa.
Yeah,
mate. The Kenzo days.
Yeah, that's right.
What a time to be alive that was.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember our first meeting, but I do remember you saying you came in and I just didn't want a bar of it, eh?
Well, look, I don't blame you. I always look at the situation from the other guy's perspective. Like, would I really give this guy much time?
Yeah.
It's already a shit day. I don't need you in my face.
Yeah, and I've got you trying to flog me some circuit breakers. I mean, you said they were the best, but fucking hell.
But, that was where, I guess, the sales kind of came in, and, you had to have a point of difference. And for me, I started competing in barbecue competitions in 2017. So for any of the guys that I did become friends with, like yourself, you would maybe follow us on socials, and then you'd know we're at a competition the weekend before, which really kind of helped the conversation.
Yeah, totally.
Talk about something else and then get down to business in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you became a master at like creating those long-term relationships and having those connections with people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why probably, as you say, most of the buggers who you were selling to, you ended up being good mates with, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So, yeah, it was a great time. So obviously going back onto the barbecue side, because that's been the big part of the story recently.
Yeah.
So obviously, because you kind of were one of the pioneering guys who really kicked off the low and slow in New Zealand.
Well, actually, it comes up every so often, but every time you have a competition in New Zealand or in Australia, your barbecue team name is assigned a number from the day you registered.
Oh, yeah.
So we were the first team to register in New Zealand.
So you're number one.
We're 261 because there was 260 teams in Australia.
Ah, right.
But
okay.
we were the first in New Zealand. So we've got the lowest team number in New Zealand.
Buzzy. Okay.
So we got in, I think we registered in 2016, only ever cooked on gas prior to this.
Yeah.
Had to understand what charcoal was, a brisket.
Because you couldn't get the cuts back then either.
It was shit house, mate. And the butchers kept kicking me out, That's what we've got, mate. You're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I got into, I didn't get into fisticuffs, but just got asked to leave a few times. Until Ruben out in Aussie Butcher New Lynn, the good bugger, really sat down and listened and just kind of started sourcing the stuff that we needed. And they need to be cut, and I understand, we're not Mr. and Mrs. Jones that patronise his shop every day.
Yeah.
We just come in with a ruler and go, I need it this long.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, along with the cuts that weren't there, the rubs weren't there. There was no locally produced stuff.
Yeah.
Which was a real opportunity. And you're a foodie yourself. I could see you doing the same thing I did, was making your own rubs rather than importing something that you don't know what it tastes like or how it behaves.
And like bringing them in from the States, it's expensive.
Expensive.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you get one and it's shit and you're like,
yeah.
All right, try again.
Yeah. So as we understood what a brisket was and what a St. Louis cut was and you know, baby backs and all that stuff, we were experimenting on the side with our rubs as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we
yeah, because I remember you were into it. You probably weren't that far into it when I met you. On the rubs, but I remember going, I've got to go home and put stickers on the rub packets.
Oh, yeah.
You had like students portioning them out for you and stuff in the house and whatnot.
You know, I've still got the cereal bowls. In fact, we probably need to, you know, get rid of these. But we've had the same cereal. What are we, 2025? So 9 years, my family's had the same cereal bowls. They're still going kind of strong, but they're the ones that I mixed our first rubs in on our kitchen bench.
Yeah.
And, you know, those clip-it containers you put your cereal into or your rice, they were the ones that we'd shake and get all of the ingredients mixed, and then I'd spoon it into pouches from there. So doing 2 kilos at a time.
Yeah. You know? You're just a family-friendly drug dealer, really.
Yeah. It kind of did feel a bit like that.
I can remember you rocking up. I can't remember where we were, but you're like, Bobby, try this, and you pull a little sealer bag out your pocket, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And it's your new rub.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. And it was, you know, like we'd get an order, you know, and Ruben at Aussie Butcher was our first customer, and then, you know, Butchers Talk, so we started, you know, getting a little bit further out there. But getting an order was good, but it meant I had to put more stickers on more bags, and I had to fill more, and I had to mix more. So it was painful but good at the start. You know,
well, you can see it's going somewhere, but then having to go home after working all day and doing that shit.
You know, you're up till, and this is no lie, up till 1 or 2 in the morning, sat on the ground with your coffee table at your lap.
Yeah.
And just sticking stickers on. And then one of the butchers go, where's the barcode? And you're like, fuck, that's another sticker. Because I've already printed hundreds of these other things with no barcodes. That's another sticker we had to put on, you know?
Yeah. So a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah. But, you know, I guess that clunky kind of hard to get going is, you know, when you look back, it's pretty sweet to know that you came from such a clunky beginning to what we have now, which is pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's massive, because obviously I remember me and you were talking, bloody hell, but it was almost daily at the point when you were going to make the leap.
Yeah.
Because you'd had Rum and Que going for, what, 5 years or something as a side hustle?
Well, so 2018, we went to the Jack, right? We won a grand championship, which means just winning a competition in New Zealand. Unbeknownst to us, the ABA, which is the governing body for the Australian and the New Zealand, although we've got our NZBA, our New Zealand Barbecue Alliance, they take kind of, they follow what the ABA puts down as far as rules.
Yeah.
But the ABA had put our name into the Jack as a wild card, which is over in Tennessee at the Jack Daniel's Distillery.
Yeah.
And our puck, they use little pucks or what they seal the 44-gallon drums with.
Oh, yeah.
With the Jack Daniels. They engrave those, throw them in a big thing, and then they toss them around and draw them out.
Lottery.
So we found out that we'd won an entry into the Jack, and we didn't know what the fuck that was. I had to Google it to find out. We're like, okay, this is a big deal.
We're going to Tennessee.
We're going to Tennessee to represent New Zealand. It's the first time New Zealand had left New Zealand to compete.
Yeah, okay.
So we had an Australian, 2 Australians, 3 Australians, and 2 South Africans, which one is my wife, one's my mate Ryan, go as a New Zealand team over to Tennessee to represent New Zealand.
Bloody awesome.
And then my wife sort of said to me, you know, she said, maybe we should do a bit of fundraising and try and sell, because this is before we were selling into the butchers.
Right.
Sell these rubs that we had. We had about 3 at the time.
Yeah.
See if we can sell them on Facebook as a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And I think that was really the first kind of step into the business that we'd done. Because we'd been around for about a year, more as a competitive team, but kind of hustling these things on the side to our mates and stuff.
Yeah,
and I think we raised about $4.5 grand or whatever to go to the States.
Pretty good response from nothing though.
Oh, totally. And then when we got back, our profile had lifted.
Yeah,
and the butchers, because there was nothing on the scene here, they all started contacting us, going, "Hey man, how do we get rubs?" And we started bringing out sauce. So it kind of just started kind of snowballing
Yeah.
And there's me with my breakfast bowls going, holy shit, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've got some bloody rubs to mix today. Yeah, totally. No, so obviously from there, and as we said, you kind of got to the point where you're like, I think we're going to give this a go, like all in sort of thing, eh?
Yeah.
So what year was it that you... Because that would have been 3 years ago or something now?
This is the end of my 4th year now. So
Oh, bugger.
When was COVID?
2020, yeah.
I was still working for Vinco in 2020. I finished at the end of 2020.
Yeah.
It was a bit shit, actually. I'm sorry, Simon, if you're watching this, but I did hand my notice in like the last week of Christmas. It was only because I was waiting for a few things to come through, and it all just kind of happened in that last week. And Simon just said, yeah. He goes, he was pretty good, actually. He kind of said, oh, yeah, have you got it to this point? I said, yeah. And he grabbed my letter and just threw it in the bin and goes, you're off, mate, But I didn't want to make the jump. I think I was probably the better one to do the jump because Tracy's not good face-to-face. She doesn't want to do the sales stuff.
Yeah.
But I was earning more, so it made sense for the lower income earner to jump first.
Yeah.
But she was like, nah.
Not into it.
So I jumped, which was risky, but it meant you could focus on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way to focus on something is you've got to give it 100% or 110%.
Yeah.
It's sink or swim, right?
Yeah.
So I went from a side hustle to holy shit, I need to make this work.
No better way to get motivated, right? Yeah, but I mean, I've seen you over the years. You're always a butcher or a supermarket or something. Doing demos, giving out free robs, whatever.
Yeah.
So just like to bring it back into something that's probably quite relatable for our listeners. How did you end up getting your product into these national chains, such as the supermarkets and stuff like that? How did you go about that?
I'm not a very lucky man. Apart from getting my wife, somehow locking my wife down to love me for this long and having 2 beautiful children. I don't win a lot of things in my life.
Yeah.
But we'd filled out the foodstuffs forms to become a supplier into their network before COVID hit.
Okay.
And then it takes a little while to get all that shit sorted, and we got it sorted. And then we got a vendor number, and then we went into lockdown. You couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then half of our pretty much all of our network shut down because we were just butchers and retail stores.
Yeah.
Butchers had to close.
Yeah.
And retail stores, I'm not quite sure. I don't remember if there was contactless drop-off or it was up to the business, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But because we became a vendor, these supermarkets very quickly realised that they had the whole market to themselves.
Yeah.
They had no butchers competing. So they found out very quickly that they had no rubs. They weren't selling a lot of briskets, short ribs, pork butts. They weren't doing a lot of the low and slow cuts.
Yeah.
So I think collectively that they sort of looked at themselves and go, right, we've got a real opportunity here. There's a gap.
Yeah.
And Gilmore's do it quite well.
Yeah.
So we got into Gilmore's and then we got into the foodies because we had the vendor number.
Yeah.
So we were waking up some mornings and there was like 15 new stores.
Yeah.
All with orders. And then we wake up the next day and there's another 30 stores. So we were just picking up big chunks of
massive growth.
Yeah. Just in 2020. So I guess we were one of the lucky ones with COVID. We were on the entertainment side of life, which is what people needed to do to keep themselves sane.
Oh, barbecue took off in those lockdowns. Anybody who had any interest in it.
Yeah.
Even guys like Urban Lumberjack and stuff like that. He was dropping wood off at my house. Like, you'd stay inside and you'd come out and there'd be wood out there.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
Booze went through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Meat went through the roof. Charcoal sales went through the roof.
Everyone was trying to make bloody sourdough starters.
Yes.
Bloody yeast infection in the pantry. Bloody Jesus. Hey?
Yeah.
Who wants to make a loaf of bread that smells like fish?
I never started on the sourdough.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm not going further down this road. I'll get myself in trouble. Feast on the yeast.
Is that what the tash is all about?
Flavour saver, mate. Anyway, bringing back, this is a serious podcast for serious people. Right, another little thing that I'd like to touch on is the names of your rubs,
Oh, yes.
because particularly at the beginning there were some.
Well, it's still around.
Yeah, I mean they're still there, but I think Hot Cock was around at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
So Hot Cock was our first rub.
COQ, just to clarify.
Yeah, very classy. We went with a cock of arm kind of stab there, but
Stab.
Hot Cock was named by my mate Andy Rowe.
Yeah.
Big lad. You wouldn't want to meet this guy in a dark alley. Teddy bear, but I wouldn't want to cross him. But he came up with Hot Cock, and then another mate of mine, Ant Studavaki, who used to be he was the original pitmaster in New Zealand. He was down at Fireworks down.
Oh yeah.
You remember that place with the radar hill? He come up with
Yeah, 'cause
Ramrod.
they had octopets way back in the day.
Well, he had a radar hill first. Did
he?
I think they were one of the first to get radar into the country, which was made out of Brizzy. Robert Maxwell, he's a. I've never seen anyone put piss away like this guy. He's amazing, and he just gets up the next. I don't think he even goes to sleep. I don't know. He
just cracks
he
on.
just keeps going. So he named Ramrod, and then anyway, very quickly we found out Hot Cock was too hot for the Kiwi palate.
Yeah.
So we dialed it back, and the only kind of obvious name to call it up, because we discontinued it, was to call it Soft Cock. So it's now called Soft Cock. And I remember when we got into foodies, the South Island are a little bit more conservative down there.
Yeah.
And I had the butchery manager ring me up, and I'm trying to push these codes through.
What's this, mate?
Yeah. And to get codes skewed into foodies, there's one or two ways, right? You can go and have a meeting with the category guy, or you find someone in a store, because it's a co-op, right? They're individually owned.
Yeah.
They just put a heat call in or whatever and say, we need this article loaded.
Yep.
So you give them the barcode, grams, all that stuff, and then they just push it through, and then all of a sudden Soft Cock's now an article in the South Island. And Ali, the butchery manager, who's a fucking good guy, actually. I've been on the piss with him a few times. He rings me up and he goes, is this Matt from Rum and Que? And I said, yeah, mate. He goes, I've got this article here that people are trying to push through. It's called Soft Cock. Can you tell me anything about that? I said, it's just a rub, mate. You know, you put on chicken and fish.
Yeah.
He was right. So just going to paint a scene for you. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones come to the butchery counter, right? Because I see you're trying to put in some bulk as well, so the butcher is to use the marinade. Yeah. Mrs. Jones wants some seasoning on her chicken wings. And what's the butcher going to say? Like, would you like a little bit of Soft Cock on that, would you love? And I started laughing. He had a bit of a chuckle as well. He goes, but seriously, how do you think that sounds? And I said, well, I don't know, mate.
I like it.
Yeah. I didn't really think about this at the point when, back then. But anyway, fast forward to today, Soft Cock's right throughout the South Island, North Island. They season, we do stickers, they do flatbirds, and it's
because you go into New World now, and obviously half the meat section's marinated in Rum and Que. It's bloody awesome to see.
And that's been another focus of ours this year, is to push into that bulk stuff. So we're doing a whole lot more in that bulk. Maybe not doing the same. So the new flavours aren't in retail packs, but they're all just for the butchers to then season their stuff on. Yeah, so
I actually got some breaded chicken schnitzels the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just wanted a quick dinner. Did a bit of chicken katsu with it, bit of curry sauce. Bloody beautiful,
nice.
Mate. Bit of dirty bird on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was bloody lovely.
Yeah, good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right, mate. Give us one tip for business that you wish somebody had told you when you were starting out.
Maybe, I guess, I don't know if we would have called our business Rum and Que if I'd really knew that this was our end destination. So, and things like Soft Cock, funny, and I'm kind of glad they're there, but it would have been an easier run without that sort of stuff. So I think, if I was to wind the clock back a little bit and go, right, this is where you could be in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Do you want names like Soft Cock? And do you want your name to be Rum and Que? Or could it just be something easier to spell and to say?
I suppose, because even like doing the URLs and stuff, trying to tell people what the website is, and it's like Rum and Que or Rum and Que.
I still see some vans around, and like the name of your business might mean something to you, but if you have a quick look at the van or something, you can't quite read it or make sense of it.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to be really easy to understand and, non-offensive.
Kind of needs to do what it says on the tin.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely have a laugh with your names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think you just have to be easy to understand and people know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just as a glance, and not have to look into it further.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's completely. I don't know. It's always good for somebody to look in a little bit closer at you, but if you're offering a service that lots of other people are offering, I think you just need to be really clear and understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. All right. So we've sort of gone through the business side, where you're up to. Obviously, you're pretty bloody successful these days, which is great to see.
Yep, it's going well.
What we've not really talked about is the competition side as well, because you guys are obviously up there in the top competitors in the country. So how's that all going?
Yeah, good. Look, it's always a it's a double-edged sword in my family. It's good to win, and it's it keeps a profile up there, and but it's a lot of work, and we've got two young kids, Wildcat and Ballbag.
Oh yeah, I know.
Ballbag Zach and Wildcat. This man named, which is my daughter Indy.
Yeah. Oh, well, I did one competition with you, and I was knackered, mate.
It's etched in my brain forever, and many other people.
Yeah, yeah, bit of a yarn there.
It was a 45-minute story Bob told. Am I allowed to go into detail here?
Yeah. I mean, do you think?
Okay.
It was outside of work.
Was outside of work. We were in Tauranga.
Yeah.
And it was a school, but, the school was closed. It was a big oval. I don't think there was any kiddies around. But it was about 9 o'clock at night, and we'd obviously enjoyed a few beverages.
Yeah, we'd had a couple, haven't we?
And Bobby started telling a story about how you met a certain someone in your life.
No, I was telling that story about where I had the accident in Sky City.
Oh.
I thought it was about your ex, how you met.
Nah.
Chaz?
Nah, it was me talking about... look, I won't go through the whole story, but basically I pooed my pants in the Sky City Hotel. Then... Yeah, okay, I see where you're going. So we'd just met, and she was in the shower in the hotel room, and I was like... So I was desperate.
Yes.
So I ran into the hallway, pushed the elevator, and as the doors opened, it just happened. But for some reason, I still got in the lift with two parents and a young kid. And as we were going down in the lift, the little girl sort of looks at her dad, and he's like, she's, "What's that smell, Daddy?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, mate." But yeah, no, that was the yarn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But for some reason, I ended up with
Starkers.
Yeah, totally naked.
Completely naked through most of that story.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, because we're in a...
Well, as soon as I take my pants off, mate, that's my best joke.
Yeah. Was quite funny. But you had a lot of barbecue guys, all burly dudes come around and see, your white body in the like some under verandas, right? In the 4K, yeah. Quite bright there, Bobby. And they'd come in and go, "Holy shit, what's this guy naked for?" And they'd walk off, and then they could hear the laughter, because those people that stood around, which I was one of those, they slowly started coming back, didn't they? And they go, what's going on? Like, this guy's quite funny. And then they just forgot you were naked for a little while.
Yeah.
And just listened to the yarn.
Yeah.
It was quite funny.
Yeah, I got in a bit of trouble for that, to be honest.
Did you? Off who?
The ex.
Oh, yeah. Did you tell her?
She knew.
Did she?
She knew somebody else who was at the comp, and I think the word had kind of got out.
Right.
Anyway, moving on swiftly. Great experience. What I was more getting into was like bloody hard work.
Yeah, it is hard work. It's a week prep, and then it's, when you get back, you've got to clean it all. So It does take about 2 weeks out of your life, just chipping away at things. And having young kids, sometimes feels a bit selfish to put that much time aside for comps.
It's the family business, mate.
It is a family business, and as like Zach missed out on one not that long ago, and he was beside himself that he couldn't come. So
love him, eh?
Yeah, no, he's into it,
and it's pretty cool for them, because a lot of them the big family events. There's something on for the kids. There's live music, all that sort of stuff. So there is. I suppose it is pretty cool for him.
And if we nab a trophy, he's like Speedy Gonzales. He's fucking straight up there
on the stage.
He's got the trophy and he's gone again. We just kind of wander up. Cheers,
Yeah, the boss man's already done it.
He's gone. Yeah.
Sweet. So what's next for Rum and Que? Anything exciting on the horizon?
Yeah, so this year we are producing in the States. So we've picked a few of our, I guess, so Rib Rock is one of our biggest sellers. And then we've been selling things like Intensify, garlic butter and truffle butter. I think those garlic butter and truffle butter are really making a name for themselves in the States.
Good.
There's
the Intensify, I'm obsessed with Intensify.
Goes on everything.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, there's two competitions that we compete in here. It's the NZBA, which is your brisket, your ribs, your chicken, pork, that sort of thing. There's a state cook-off association which comes out of Texas, Fort Worth. They've been making some inroads into New Zealand in the last 4 years. So it's become quite a big competition here as well.
Yeah.
And those competitions are what drives a lot of our, I guess, R&D.
Yeah.
And
so what are people actually putting on their entries into the competition and stuff?
Yeah.
What profiles are hot right now? That
Exactly.
sort of thing. Yeah.
And it's that little bit of pop at the end. So the garlic butter and truffle butter give you that pop.
Yeah.
You can use compound butters to finish your steak, but you're not allowed to use sauces. So I took that as a bit of a, right, what can we do to produce something that's easy to apply?
Yeah.
And then anyway, the state cook-offs in the States are now, in the last, I guess, 2 or 3 years, our products are being used more and more in there.
Yeah.
So we're supplying into Florida, into Alabama, into Texas,
Maine,
and a couple stores north.
Yeah.
But I when I was over there last year, we did really well. We went to a competition in Weatherford, 117 teams.
Bloody hell.
And we landed 4th there.
Yeah, nice.
We got 1st in steak, 3rd in chicken, fucking ribs.
Yeah.
Fucking 26. And then brisket we landed 6th, and like the Americans couldn't believe that someone had flown over from New Zealand.
He's this Australian guy from New Zealand.
And done so
what's
well.
What's bloody Rick from Rick and Morty doing here? Beating us at bloody barbecue, the bastard.
But that kind of got us a few conversations. So this year we've got a blender over there, we've got a distributor over there.
Yeah.
So we're going to give it a bit of a hoon on a few products and just see if we can get some penetration and get some brand recognition.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over there and do some comps and do some PR stuff over there this year.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
And then hopefully we can then push into the States properly next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are the Trump tariffs and all that lot going to affect you? You had a look at that?
I haven't looked at that.
Have a look at that.
But it's being produced. Is that for importing?
Yeah, so if it's being produced there, you might be all right.
Should be all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the FDA is a bit of a curly one, right?
Yeah, you'd have to jump through some hoops, right?
Well, I'm just trying to give myself a bit of a layer of protection, because if I get produced with a manufacturer who give me all of the NIP, which is the nutritional information, it's really up to those guys to give us the right information.
Yeah.
And then we make the label based around that. But I think we'll have some protection because we're being produced in America.
Nice.
So if anyone, because everyone's suing everyone over there, which fucking scares the shit out of me. But I'm hoping we've got a bit of protection there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, the onus falls on them to give you a product that can be sold there if they're manufacturing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a brief conversation with him about it, and he said, mate, if we go down, we all go down.
Yeah.
Which is unsettling, but
yeah.
We'll give it a hoon.
Hey, mate, you've got to give it a whirl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So what are you saying to me there, Haley? I'm struggling, mate. All good? Right. So I think we've covered just about everything there. Is there anything else you've like to chuck in?
No. I mean, I don't know. If this, I guess, interviews to kind of inspire or whatever. I think the only thing that really separates, I guess, someone that owns a business or works for a business is really just appetite for hard. And I'm not saying people that are employees aren't hard workers, but to put things on the line a little bit and you know, it really, like, because I know a lot of people that have got some dreams.
Yeah.
And really, it's just a matter of taking that first step into actioning and getting it done, because, you know, everybody can do, and this is the stuff that you listen to as a kid, but you never really take it in. You can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. It really is just a fucking lot of hard work.
Yeah, of course it is.
You know, and a bit of stubbornness and just getting it done. Like, you know, not going to bed until that one's done and then get up the next day and chip away at something else.
Yeah, and still hammer it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not being too comfortable.
No, and just, exactly, putting yourself in some awkward situations and just testing, you know, I guess your resilience and your ability to adapt and do different things. Yeah.
And I think, like, one thing that I've definitely seen from you is, you know, some people might think it's glamorous, like it's quite a cool industry that you're in, it's your passion, but you're the guy still out there, you know, knocking on people's doors, doing the orders, getting everything sorted for them. It's not like you've got a team of minions underneath you and you're just sat there, you know what I mean?
No, we actually employed someone today. This is the first day. So we're now
congrats.
4. So
Nice.
we've got a warehouse guy, but we just need some help with admin.
Yeah.
A lot of marketing stuff and accounts. There's just heaps of shit that needs to get done. So Tracy's got one of her mates in a few days a week now to just kind of help keep an eye on stock and
yeah, bloody good.
So
Oh well, look, we'll keep in touch, mate. Thanks very much for coming on.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
We might do this again because I'd love to hear like the next instalment of what's going on.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Good on you, Bobby.
Cheers, matey.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
All right, mate. Matty Melville will, you know, that went really quick for some reason. It was a great chat.
Oh, he could have gone on for another hour or two, easy.
Yeah.
He's just likable. He talks so well, and so relatable. Not only for what he's doing in business, but it's a business story, right? So that means everything to our industry as well.
Yeah, mate. Just real proud of how far him and Tracy have taken the company and everything that they do. So. Yeah, mate, bloody awesome to have him on. One thing I'd just like to say as well is he's been kind enough to do a discount code for our listeners.
Yes.
So if you go to rumandque.com, I'll put the link in the show notes. Use the code NZTG10 and you get 10% off anything on the website.
What a legend. Thanks, Matty.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
One good thing I picked up from your session, though, was still learning and doesn't have all the answers. Obviously seen some big and quick success, but wants to be the best at what he does, and he knows that it's an ongoing journey, right?
Yeah, and you know they're just about to embark on the new chapter, getting into the States proper,
massive,
and all that lot. So yeah, we wish him all the best, and
100%.
I think we'll have him back on in the future as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so absolutely take advantage of that discount. You'll probably see him in stores and supermarkets and stuff anyway. But great opportunity to rip in and try some of that good stuff.
Absolutely, mate. So
well done.
There's another one in the can. So all that remains to be said is stay safe out there, keep puzzling, and we will see you next week for another go. Cha-cha, Alex Tate.